Hello, and welcome back to the continuation of the brand new series, season even, of the gaming podcast for DigiPride 2024. As usual, I'm your host, Miabai, as we dive into all of the most curiously captivating queer conversations on the web. Now, as a reminder, before we get started here, this season of the podcast is tied in with our annual DigiPride celebrations. And this year, DigiPride is presented by Jammer Games and sponsored by Devolver Digital and Wizards of the Coast. To find out what's in store across the 6 weeks that we have in store for you can head across to gamingmag.com/. This episode. It's a very special episode as we're trying to specialize all of our episodes this season. And today we're going to be looking into the wonderful world of esports and how they're so very, very queer. To help me, I'd love to welcome my panel of esports experts. We have MZ, Kylie Gabor, and BB Kyle. Hello. Everybody's muted. Let's go.
Hey.
Hi.
How's everybody doing today?
Good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you all on. I've never seen a more beautiful selection of panelists today. You're all serving looks so fierce, so fierce. All right, so thank you so much for taking the time. We're going to kick off today by letting you all introduce yourselves and tell everybody what you do and where you fit into the world of esports. So MZ, let's just go across this way. Let's start with you.
Oh no, I'm first. Hi, I'm MZ or Emma. They're both MZ is literally a play of Emma. I am a professional esports, and I'm not going to say athlete because I feel like that's a dumb term for esports people. But I'm a special esports player. I almost said gamer. I'm a Commonwealth gold medalist, the European Games silver medalist. I won one of the first ever Olympic sanctified esports events for Great Britain in this very jersey. And I'm just a face and a voice for all things queer in esports because there's not enough of us. There should be more always.
Fantastic. Can't wait to dive more into that and your background and stuff. BB Kyle, who are you? What do you do? Tell everybody about yourself.
Yes, I'm BB Kyle. I am on the leadership team of CMSA Esports. We're a queer gaming community. We specialize in recreational esports. We're a part of a larger organization called CMSA, which is the Chicago Metropolitan Sports Association. They offer a lot of different in-person sports, and then we launched CMSA Esports during COVID because we wanted to give people a way to still connect with each other while competing and having a community when we weren't really able to have that. And it's actually been thriving ever since. So I'm really happy I get to do a lot of the social media with them and, play along with my community.
And of course, last but most definitely not least, we have Kylie Gabor. Hello.
Hi.
Who are you? What do you do? Tell everybody about yourself.
Yes. I'm Kylie Gabor. I am a drag artist. I started in esports by creating the first and only monthly LGBTQIA plus Apex tournament. It started, I think, 2-3 years ago. I'm bad at dates. But around that time, I created Slay Packs alongside Saturn to create a safe space and a platform where marginalized individuals in the queer space could learn and navigate tournaments. And so that way they could go into these big tier 1 tournaments that are full of cis heteronormative people and not feel intimidated by them and know how to actually navigate the Discord, the tourney, the lingo that goes inside of it, give them the materials and they can just go inside of it and just know exactly how to run the game.
Let's go. We love creating safe spaces, especially within the realm of esports. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to esports. When it comes to esports, I am very, very baby. I know very little. I've done some cursory research, obviously, but when it comes to esports, I am not like a massive fan. I think I watched some Overwatch League. That's about it for me, unfortunately. But I'm so interested to get to picking your brains and getting to know more about it today, especially how that intersects with queerness too. So that's going to be really fun. I was really surprised to actually find out that that there's over 285 million esports enthusiasts, according to data, which is amazing
I
to
would say
me.
there's a lot more than that.
Yeah, I would think
Yeah.
so too.
I would say times that by at least 10.
Wow. I say this was in March this year, I think, some kind of statistics, but you know what? Let's I imagine it's probably far more. Oh God. Oh no. Oh, I'm just gonna ignore the chat real quick. Yes, no, yeah, sorry. I like to call Apex Legends top feet. Just no, yeah, top feet. Yeah, that's the name I give it. Thank you, Spork of Death. I appreciate that. So, let's jump into conversation surrounding esports. Top feet. That's gonna haunt me until the day I die. Right. So, I want to know what attracted you all to competitive gaming and esports in general, and anybody can jump in on this. Who's got that for me? Who wants to go first?
I'll start first.
Yeah, sure.
I'm naturally a competitive person, but I'm not the best when it comes to any game I play. I kind of just play just to play it. But what made me get like really involved into the competitive space of esports was not necessarily me wanting to play it, but me seeing a need for a space for the queer community that wasn't there, and other tourney organizers like actually literally saying create your own space if you want to be welcome. So I did just that. I didn't necessarily want to be in the tournaments or play in the tournaments. I just wanted to create the tournaments because I know there's dozens, hundreds, thousands of people that actually want to play.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And as of course, as you mentioned, you're the organizer of Slaypex, and
Yes,
that is such a fantastic name as well. And I want to know, was that the first name that you came up with that? Because that's like
it was
instant, like
right. It was Gaypex at first, but I was like, you know what? No, I don't feel that's inclusive enough. And like slay, everyone slays. And then I think somebody in my chat actually said that while we were just like brainstorming. And I was like, okay, that's it. That's an easy like yes, that it's Slaypex.
Mm-hmm. And it's awesome you've created that space where people can come together. That's great, especially this whole notion of the constantly when we're thinking about the gaming industry in general and gamers and their reactions to things. There's always this kind of like overwhelming notion that we have to carve out those spaces. And often when we do, it's still met with with some horrible stuff. So yeah, all the props for that. Let's go in the reverse order actually then. Kyle, tell me, how did you get into your current role in competitive gaming with CSMA?
Yes,
That's the right
well,
acronym, right? Yeah.
CMSA.
CMSA. I knew I'd get it wrong. You see,
It's a mouthful.
Mm-hmm.
I did kind of touch on it just like a little bit ago, but during COVID, me and a lot of the other leaders, we had been involved in CMSA as a whole, doing a bunch of other things, being captains of a bunch of different sports and things like that. And then we all were kind of like into gaming. We decided to just throw something together, just like a small group of us, and we were able to grow it massively. But the reason why we did it is because just what Kylie was saying, there is a lot of, we do have to carve out these spaces for ourselves sometimes because we're not always welcomed into other communities and spaces around straight people. But that's not the only reason, but like queer people, we have our own celebrities, we have our own pop culture, we have our own sense of humors, and sometimes it's nice to just spend that time with people that have the same interests and same thought processes and same goals in life. We don't always fit right into that heteronormative world, and so kind of being able to just play a few games with people like yourselves and not really be trying to fit in with other people, but rather just be yourselves. It really just is a nice place to be. So I'm glad I was able to start something like that.
Absolutely. We need more of those spaces where people can just exist authentically without having to like prove anything to anybody else or justify their reason for being there, and just like literally just enjoy themselves, relax, and have a good time. So again, fantastic that that's being provided. MZ, lastly, I believe you answered an Instagram ad at some point, or is there more to the story than that?
No, that's it.
just answering Instagram ad. That's it. Yeah.
Make sure you check your Instagram DMs, everyone. So I mean, as most of us in the LGBT community, LGBTQIA plus community. I was bullied as a kid. I didn't help myself because I went to an all boys school, which, knowing now what I know, was kind of stupid. So I spent a lot of time playing games, a lot of time online where nobody knew me, nobody knew who I was, and I just ended up like, like Kylie, I'm a hella competitive person, so I ended up just getting really good at games. And I was bullied quite a lot. So the more I was bullied, the more time I spent online, and the more time I spent online, the better I got in games. And then flash forward, I don't know, like 15 plus years. I'm not gonna age myself that badly. I got a message, an Instagram ad sent to me saying looking for female gamers in Northern Ireland, and I was like, hey, that's me, but also I'm trans. Is that going to be an issue? Because Northern Ireland sometimes, yes. And they were like, nope, you're a woman, would you like to play any of these games? And I was like, yep, can I play this one? They're like, cool, yeah, of course. Do you have a team? And I was like, no. And I was like, what about this one? They're like, okay, cool, yeah, do you have a team? And they were like, no. And then they were like, do you want to play eFootball? So I was like, do I need a team? They're like, no, you can play that all by yourself. And I was like, sweet, I like football. I play FIFA every year, so I guess I'll give it a go. I end up qualifying, coming top of the groups, and getting sent to Birmingham for the Commonwealth Games to represent Northern Ireland, where I came home with a gold medal. And then from there, seeing all the abuse I got for being a trans woman in a video game, I was like, I need to use this platform to help others, because I'd been bullied enough at that point that nothing was really going to bother me. So I was like, you know what? Let's just roll with the punches and see what happens. And here we are.
Yeah. Definitely, definitely some ups and downs there. I mean, one, getting that gold medal, but two, you also had to go to Birmingham, so that's definitely a down there. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm a local to Birmingham. Sorry, no, I know what it's like, but yeah, it's would you say that there was that obviously sparked in you to create that change, and now you're even the community manager over at British Esports, as far as I know. What has that change been like for you, in terms of going from being in front of the camera? Well, you're still in front of the camera, but working that closely with the organization now.
Yeah, it's been fun. Like, so we have our new headquarters up in Sunderland, the National Esports Performance Campus, and literally as you walk in, there's a massive picture of my face on the front door, just being like, yes. Along with the rest of the GB team that went to Poland. We all have our own little panels and some other students and stuff. But I mean, whenever I won the Commonwealth, it was really British esports, and specifically women in esports, which is our EDI side of things, who took me under the wing and were like, okay, do you want to come to this event and speak to what it's like being a player? They really gave me a platform to share my voice, more than I ever had. And from then I just kind of kept growing and growing. And then basically I jumped from job to job, almost gave up esports completely, because I needed some sort of stable income, right? We all do. And I had many chats with a couple of people from British Esports, and like, why don't you come work with us? Like, the community know you, you know the community. We need someone to manage our community and make it better for them and help. So why don't you just come and join us? So I did. And it has been a roller coaster of a 6 months, because I only joined in January and we've already done so much, and we're only going to do so much more. And I really can't wait. It's phenomenal. I get to give back to the same community that gave me my feet and let me sort of learn to run again. So I get to give back to
Absolutely
them.
love that, how that fell into place. That's so good. That's so good. So as we mentioned, esports is massive, like bigger than obviously the statistics are saying, and incredibly popular. But why? Why is it so popular? As somebody who's not necessarily sold on esports, how would you say? And that doesn't mean I'm against it. It just means that I've never really dabbled. Why would you say it's so popular? And that's just open. Anybody can jump in on this.
I think people just. Oh, go ahead.
Do you want to go?
Okay, I'll go. I think people just like naturally like picking a side, and people like seeing something to root for and have something to root for. whether that's just because they enjoy the game or because
Mm.
they're living vicariously through the players that are playing their favorite game because they want to try to be that level of good. Because I know when I watch esports, I'm like, oh, I could do that. Then I go in the game and I can't do that. So I think a lot
No,
of it
yeah, you will.
is like them wanting to see skills that they want to possess, and also just like that natural human thing of wanting to like naturally pick a side and see people like battle it out for whatever, if it's big money, a trophy, or what have it.
Mhm. Mhm. I'd say like in that way, it's very much like traditional sports then.
Right?
And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's not a crazy amount of difference. I imagine like you can attach yourself more so to the players though, considering like how online everybody is now in terms of like yeah, like their social
Oh yeah.
media presence and I imagine players often stream and create content themselves. Yeah. So
We
it's
do.
probably a draw as well. Sorry, did you have anything to add on to that, MZ?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's kind of like the accessibility level, right? Anyone
Mm.
can play a game. Anyone has the ability to play a game on their phone, to play a game on a console, a PC, anything. And for a lot of young kids who maybe don't feel like they fit into the traditional mold of like go out and play sports or go play football or soccer or rugby or cricket or
Mm.
whatever other stupid sport you want to throw at us. It gives them a home and somewhere that they can find other people like them. I mean, a lot of the reasons why I was bullied as a kid was because I didn't really fit in. Like I tried to play rugby, it just wasn't for me. I just wanted to play games. And then I met more people who play games and we all became friends and a family and we all sort of like grew in esports together. And it's just for me, it's the exact same as a traditional sport. It's just a home
Mm.
for people who don't fit that traditional mold to come together and really flex their skills. And a lot of it comes down to, as I said, the accessibility. Because you may get a kid who's super shy in real life and would never go up to someone and talk to them, or never you put themselves out there, but you sit them down in front of in front of a PC or a console and give them their headset and their microphone, and they're literally in there screaming, being like, "Okay, you go there, and we're all gonna
Mm.
go we're all gonna push B on 30 seconds." And then next thing you know, that kid's a world champion and they're only like 17. But if you took him to him or her or them to a traditional sport, they'd be this little shy like person in the background where they're like, hey,
Mhm.
I don't really want to do that, or I don't have the social skills to do that, or I don't have the ability to do that, whereas they have on esports.
That's such a like a powerful thing as well. Like the power of like gaming just to bring somebody out of their shell like that. That's so cool.
Mhm.
Kyle, what about yourself? What do you what is there any other kind of like take you have on why esports is so popular?
Yeah, I think people just like to see sick plays.
Yeah.
There's like wild things in a video game that I could never personally accomplish. And in esports, you can see some of the wildest or even funniest moments. And then not only that, but like different from like traditional sports that are filmed, the way esports are usually filmed is you have the person just on cam the entire time, mic'd up. So you get to really invest in the personalities of the people that you're watching and be entertained in multiple ways, just their conversation, their thought processes. They're walking you through their personal thought process as they're playing. So I think that that's what generates a lot of interest.
Mm, mm. I definitely see the draw. I don't think I've ever felt more like a bad gamer than watching like competitive Smash Brothers Melee. Like people playing at that level is it's maddening to me. I just like I'm like wow. I don't even it's like I can't even. I tried to practice wave dashing for about I don't know an hour, and then was just like nope, can't do it. I'm never going to a tournament. That's it. That's unfortunate for me. But like yeah, seeing the skill that these players have, um, and the way that they work together as well. Like I was watching some of the Overwatch League, and the plays they were getting off was just phenomenal to me. Like that much like communication, because not. I imagine like not many people think that it does take a tremendous amount of like teamwork and communication and just knowing your other players as well. I imagine to make it work like that. For those of you that have been on teams, how much time would you say goes into training? In fact, MZ, you might have some insight on this. How much time would you say goes into like training for for tournaments?
More than playing. It's more
Oh, really?
training them. Like the worst thing about being pro in esports is you don't get to play games unless you're competing. And to be able to compete, you have to practice. So for me, a typical, like if we look at the European Games, a typical day for me would have been maybe 3 hours of good playing, which was also training. So we would record it, we would then analyze it, we would then sit down with the coach, rewatch my plays, rewatch what I did, see what I did well, what I did negatively, how I could make different things better. And then I had a well-being coach, a mindfulness coach, a health and fitness coach, a dietitian, literally everything. Like it was full Team Great Britain of the year. Like we had everything at my disposal, and it was great.
Mhm.
But I cannot stress enough that esports is a team game, and no matter what game it is, like for me, I'm eFootball, and where I play on my own against one other person. It's still a team game because I still have the entire team supporting me. I'm a coach sitting beside me or behind me. Like if you can be the best player in the world, but if you can't communicate to a team, you're not going to be the best player in the world because any good teamwork outplays individual skill
Mm.
9 times out of 10. Don't get me wrong, some people are cracked and you have hero plays, but a good, well practiced, well rehearsed team will be able to counter those hero plays 9 times out of 10.
Wow. Like again, like just seeing the way that they interact is honestly mind blowing to me that people can even get to that level. Um, but for yourselves, if you're all involved in esports in some way, is it hard to separate yourselves from that, from like as an outsider, or someone that's inside, to separate yourself to become an outsider and think, okay, this is something I can sit down and enjoy and watch? Is that something that you do? Do you enjoy it as a viewer as well as a participant? Again, open floor on that.
I don't think I enjoy it watching it as much. I enjoy playing it. Like I enjoy
Hmm.
watching it when it comes to like the last games, but I can't watch the entire like the
Like
different
no qualifier is just like
the
the
qualifiers.
finals.
I was like, no, to me it's redundant. And I can't. I'll like watch like the last like the final, like the last like few games. I watch those, but that's it. I become like me being a tournament organizer and really enjoying the game. I personally don't want to dive too deep into it because then I'm gonna lose the love and the funness for myself in that game because I know that how I
Mm,
am if I start to study it like these pros do, then I'm just not gonna want to even be involved or want to play at all.
mm. Like if you're too obsessive, it just like ruins that for you a little bit.
Right, it becomes like work.
Hmm. Hmm. And MZ, what about yourself? Again, you've moved from, well, mostly moved from being in the game to outside of the game, and so you probably watch a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm probably the complete opposite of Kylie. Like I do nothing but watch
Mm,
esports, like, and I love every second of it. And like I still compete, I'm still playing, I'm still learning, I'm forming a CS:GO CS2 team, and like I watch all sorts of esports I can. For one, for my job because I work in esports, but also in my own personal time. Like I've been watching the CS2 majors, and for me as a pro player, I get an extra level of appreciation to see like the craft that these everyone's put in and how they've done it. And then I can check like I can see what they're doing like in my own head. I can sort of tell like how they're doing it and then be like, okay, I'm gonna try that in my game and bring a little aspect of this into my game. And then
mm,
me watching it is learning and is me working and is reflecting on me. But the way I look at it is as I work in esports. I love esports. I don't feel like I've ever worked a day in my life since I got a job in esports because it's like literally I get to wake up, talk about games, talk about being queer in games, play games. Maybe not the practice bit where I have to like go to the gym and stuff because who likes really doing that? But everything else around it is a solid 10 out of 10. And it really does not feel like even if we have a stressful day where like there's all sorts of hiccups, I'm still absolutely loving it. And I could watch esports from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep. But again, it really depends on the game though as well. So like I'm an FPS fan at heart. So I grew up on like the original Call of Duties and Counter Strike. So the fact that I'm pro in a sports simulator is kind of strange to me. If I could trade it all in to go pro on a FPS like Counter Strike, I'd be there in a heartbeat. because that's all I play is Counter-Strike, or I used to be Call of Duty or Fortnite every now and then because it's fun just to play. But yeah, I think for me, watching esports is still just as fun as it ever was, if not more fun, because I understand it more now.
Gosh, you're reminding me of like the pro level of Fortnite now, and then I'm just thinking, this is one of the reasons I play no build. It's like I don't want to fight a house. Like I've said this
Yep.
multiple times in the past. It's like the way that they just all of a sudden the structure just goes up. They're so quick.
You're gonna
It's
shoot at little
ridiculous.
Timmy, and he's gonna build like a 10-story like hotel in your head. Like I'm not doing that.
And then charge your rent.
Right.
That used to be me. I used to be that sweaty Fortnite gamer who had like every keybind on their mouse, and I just spin, and I'd have all of a sudden like 7-story building. But when I came back, I went to no build as well, because I'm a purist for esports. I feel like if you have the better aim, if you're playing a shooting game in FPS, if you have the better aim, you should be the better player. If you have better aim in game sense, it shouldn't come down to stupid perks or like buildings or how fast you can put up a wall.
Well, that's one thing I actually absolutely love about Zero Build as well. As an aside, the fact that like a lot of it comes down to like positioning and like who gets to that spot first as the player, just like thinking about it the whole time. And whenever I'm in a little squad with people, I'm often like, oh, I have the tactician role where I'm like, yep, we got to go here, we got to do that, we got to, yeah. So
you should try Apex. You should try Apex.
Yeah.
I've
tried Apex. Apex does not agree with me, but maybe I should give it another go. But yeah,
positioning and tactical and like tactics in Apex is like Fortnite on steroids. Like the amount of Apex I've watched where it's like there's a specific rock that every player needs to get to win. And if you don't get to that rock, you're done.
You're done.
Like,
yeah.
I feel like I need to know all these secrets to win some
watch
games.
More esports. Watch more esports.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the thing. You want tips of getting good? Watch some esports. Speaking of watching esports, I'm going to circle back to you, Kyle. So with your role, obviously, there's a lot of tournaments being organized. Do you find yourself partaking in those or just watching those? How do you go about your interactions with esports in general?
I definitely try to partake, but like I consider myself more like a seat filler. I just like to partake because I like to be a part of the community. But I do love to watch because we have like some really great announcers, like regrettably Jake and Chromacaster. They are so funny and they do such a great job. Our Chromacaster is actually in school to be a professional esports announcer, and so just like watching him hone his craft is just amazing. In addition to his personality as a whole, and I think like watching that and then seeing like our community, which is like so large, being able to see the announcers where they actually have like a slight personal relationship with a lot of the players and being able to like inject that into the commentary, I think is just so funny and so key. And so watching it is actually, it's fun and peaceful. I could put it on my TV and be doing my dishes and stuff and just feel like I'm in the room with them, just hanging out playing games.
There's something incredibly cool about those hype moments where it all comes down to the wire. A few years back, Gayming actually, I think for DigiPride, arranged with the help of Transmission Gaming, arranged a Fall Guys tournament, and I was stuck like both simultaneously producing and trying to shoutcast that. It was such a hard job. Like shoutcasters do like some amazing stuff, being able to like be on top of it, and like the level of knowledge they have about like the game as well within themselves is just incredibly impressive to me. So that's it's really cool to see like there's always new and upcoming talent all the time. That's great. So let's shift focus a little bit, because we touched on earlier that, you know, there is that contingent of gamers that are not necessarily the nicest to the community. It's there. It's something that like it's definitely not swept under the rug or anything like that, because I feel like we talk about it all of the time. Why do you all feel that, like, I mean, generally gaming has it in general, but why do you feel esports has problems with homophobia, transphobia, just any sort of phobia? Is it just that they're threatened, or is it something else?
I think a lot of it has to do with, I mean, like when I'm speaking about like anything today, I'm speaking on like just from the stance of what I see in the Apex space, because that's the only thing that I pay attention to at all in esports. I think a lot of it comes down to these big creators. All of them are cis hetero northern people, and they garner these communities, and they could easily say stop, but they don't, and they go out of the way to not say anything, or they egg it on in a subliminal way without being like, yes, I approve of that, but they do. And I think a lot of it comes down to them almost co-signing on it, or them just scared to lose their community, because they know if they speak up against something that they're going to lose their community, which is going to lose their bag. Like I know personally that a lot of these big creators that I mutuals with, that they would support me in private, but they won't do it in public because they're scared of
Name names.
their bag.
Let me-
That's
let me get him.
it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Little black
But I think a lot of it comes down to these big creators, because all of them garner those communities, and they don't say anything.
Mm. Mm. That's
I think
that's-
anonymity is a problem too. I don't know that people. I don't know if it's good to take away anonymity from people necessarily, but like the anonymity of being a gamer and just in a little voice chat and being able to just say whatever you can without consequences. I think that that's like a huge part of the problem. And then we have, you know, young people growing up in a culture of just saying whatever comes up at the top of their head. And some people don't leave that world. Some people are in like a little, you know, tiny town, and they don't have access to other people, and their only community is this anonymous one that they've built online. And so then they just feel like they can be their worst selves, and then they grow up that way, and then they're in our world of maybe being an esports player. You got God, what is that? That famous esports group, the FaZe Clan. They have like a
Oh my
homophobic
God.
players on there, and
the
they
entire
do nothing
community
about
attacked
it.
me.
It's crazy. Like, screw them, and it's awful. You know, FaZe did nothing about it, of course. But that's like, it's just like the culture of that anonymity, just like festering amongst like these people, and then just becoming that, you know, later in their life, and it continuing. So doing stuff like this, and you know what we're doing, and you know all of you, it's really what needs to keep happening to combat it.
Yeah. Yeah. MZ, obviously you mentioned that you've been on the receiving end of said hate in the past.
Just 2 days ago.
You don't necessarily have to speak on
Go
that
ahead.
specifically, but is there anything that you wanted to add
Well,
about?
that's why I held
like,
up my keyboard. This is the cause of 90% of the hate people get online.
really a
They feel
keyboard?
this specific, no, not this specific. I love this keyboard. Because they can hide behind it. They think
Oh,
that
yeah,
whatever
of
they
course.
type on this keyboard isn't gonna come back on them. It's like Kyle said, the anonymity. Like, you can hide behind a keyboard, a microphone. Nobody has a face, right? You can
Yeah.
just type away. But it's, for me, it's worse before you get to the pro level of esports. So like I would consider like what I've done sort of like semi-pro, and then what I'm part of is quite pro. But like everyone I've ever met in that scene has always supported me and had my back and never said anything. But it's the moment it leaves that bubble and goes out to the public or goes out to the wider gaming fan base that they're like, bro just changed gender so he could win a game of FIFA. No. What a stupid thing to say. What an absolutely dumb thing to say.
Yeah, somebody's going to uproot their entire life just to win a game of FIFA.
Yeah. And two, girls are better at games anyway, because we have to put up with the rubbish and the abuse online. You can never have a bad day. You have to be able to be good at the game and deal with personal attacks, whereas a lot of people don't. They could just, you just like, bro, you're trash. That's your insult. Whereas for me, it's you're trans, you're queer, you're this, you're that, you're just. It's like, no, I'm just hungover. Leave me be.
I saw this this clip the other day, and I'm not sure who the creator was, but it was this a female player. I think she was playing COD, and like two guys were like just being incredibly horrible to her. So she literally 1v1'd them both, and then took them both to school. It was amazing to see just like the level of play. Like, obviously, she died a couple of times, but she absolutely decimated them to the point where they just had nothing to say anymore, and it was absolutely fantastic. I do feel like this sometimes with a lot of like hate online, it just comes down to a bit of a culture of like dehumanization as well. Like this idea that the people that you're talking to online aren't real people. for some reason. I don't know how we've gotten to this point where we don't understand. Well, obviously we do, but like some people don't understand that the effects that they have in this internet world. There's this idea that the internet isn't a real place, so it doesn't have any lasting effects, and so can excuse all of this behavior. I mean, even recently we've had the big drama with Valorant, for instance, with the actions that they're now taking to try and curb horrific behavior in online lobbies, but to the point that we've gotten like it's become normalized for this to be expected. It's just it's a horrifying notion, and I'm really happy that they're looking into change that. I think they are bringing in hardware bans as well, which should be fantastic. Are they? Do you think they're taking the right actions? Not specifically them, but do you think actions like that are the right ones to be taken? No.
I don't think. I think it's too little, too late at this point. I think
Yeah.
I've spoken to this before in a lot of things. I think it's how to speak without being cancelled, Emma. Um, game developers have a huge say in what
Mm,
people can do and can't do online, and they need to take a firmer grip on what people do in their games. And I
Mhm.
understand why they don't, because if you start hardware banning people, and you start stopping people playing their game, you're gonna lose money, and
yeah.
that's all they care about is making the game to make money. Esports only exists because of good games, and good games only exist because of money. So it's a vicious, very vicious cycle.
Mm,
But I think like hardware bans isn't the way to go. Like when you sign up to a game nowadays, you give them all your personal details. They know your name, they know your date of birth, they know your email address, they know your phone number, they know your bank details because you're going to buy microtransactions. Because who doesn't want to look prettier in a game? Um,
true.
like they know like game developers know everything, right? If you say something to me that's hella disgusting and toxic, the game developer should be like, boom, you're never talking in this game again.
Mm,
Or you're not talking until you complete this like educational piece where you have to physically go out of your way to complete a course with other people. You can be in a room full of other idiots that think it's okay to say this kind
mm.
of thing, and you're all going to get like pop quizzes, and
Oh my god.
nobody's getting their accounts unlocked until you pass this quiz.
So I know there in certain games there's this whole idea of like they send like ne'er do wells to their own like lobbies that are separated from everybody else. I wonder if that could be like implemented in there where there's like some kind of and I don't want to say re-education, but like here's how to be a nice person implemented into their games, and they get some kind of debuff to them in that area with all the other people like them until they change their behavior.
They try it. So, like in Counter Strike, you can commend people for being friendly, for being a
Mm,
good leader or teacher. In League of Legends and Riot based games, you can commend people for other various different things. So they do try and reward good players with little bits and pieces. But I think that it's too little, too late at this point.
mm,
They've let the toxicity fester,
yeah,
and they have the capabilities to actually put not an end to it, because I don't think they're ever going to like the day there's no toxicity is the day there's no internet, because the internet is always going to allow people to hide behind something anonymous, right? But
yeah.
I
I mean,
think
goddamn, look at Twitter at the moment. I mean, it was bad before, and like it's
Oh my god, I know.
I love
not
it.
great now.
So
Right.
Yeah,
banter.
I feel like with all this like technology with like AI and everything, I feel like they should be able to catch that type of commentary in advance.
mm,
I feel like queer people tend to be victims of AI technology with like shadow banning and stuff on different things. But I feel like they gotta just make that better. Like you can catch a voice chat comment that is clearly getting hateful and homophobic, transphobic, racist, misogynistic, all of that. There's gotta be a way that they can catch that almost immediately and immediately mute those people,
yeah.
and ban them or do, something. And I
Mhm.
feel like that's a resource they probably already have and are just being lazy at using it for reasons that you said, that they just want to make money with everybody else being the victims of that.
I mean, is there a possibility that you go too far the other way as well? I know that
Mhm.
like Overwatch were getting some flack recently for their like in chat kind of moderation things where you'd write a simple word like hell or damn, and you were getting. I'm not sure if this is misinformation. Correct me if I'm wrong, but people were getting like banned like temporarily banned for like just putting like curse words in chat. Is there
Crazy.
do you think that that's there's a fine balance there and
You're right though, because
struck?
I still like to call my friends the F slur, and I want to be able to do that.
Mm.
I think if you turn profanity filter off, you should only be in lobbies with people who also have profanity filter off. So there,
Mm.
like,
Yeah,
like
there
if
you
you
go.
want to, curse people, you expect to be cursed back. But
Right.
at the same time, I mean, that would help for a lot of people who don't have that on, have the profanity filter on. So if you don't have profanity, you're still gonna get. They'll find a way around it. They always do. But I think like, just comes like if you start banning people, people will stop playing your game. People stop playing your game dies, and then the esports side of it dies because you're not making money, so you're not putting money into the esports side of thing. I think it's all
Yeah.
it's all too little, too late. They have to start doing it, and they have to do educational pieces. The only way is education, and they have to look
Mhm.
at pro players. Like the amount of pro players who've done
Mm.
stupid things and said stupid things. Orgs are
Mm.
getting better at it now. We'll not mention FaZe because lol. But like I know personally a lot of people who work high up in orgs, and they will not touch a player if they're being found to be toxic. And your entire life is online now, especially as a kid coming up wanting a career in esports. If you tweet something, it's there. People will find it.
Mm.
Like, and orgs now, it's not worth because their risk from investment, from sponsorships, from their partners to sign a kid who ultimately could turn around and be like the most toxic little prick in the world. Sorry for all my
Mm. I say that's such a great point as well. You talk about like esports, the industry themselves actually taking better actions. Are there any other actions do we feel that the industry can take to change things for the better? Like in terms of like better vetting or just or literally not just booting out players but putting out positive messaging into the world.
A lot of teams are. A lot of good teams are sort of going, you know what? You're the wrong image for us. Like image now plays a big part of esports because let's face it, there is hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of good players. You're not going to struggle to find someone who is good. You're going to struggle to find someone who's good, who's a good teammate, and who has a good personality and isn't an actual idiot. And wants
Mm.
to say things. So I mean, from speaking from a personal experience, I've seen a lot of players get dropped from a lot of orgs, and the org come out and went in the complete polar opposite direction of things that player was saying just to spite that player. Like, so
Mm.
they would give extra money to Pride, or they would give extra money to charities that are very heavily focused on the LGBTQ community.
Mm.
They go out of their way to make sure that their fan base knows that our community is welcome in their community. And if one of the players that they signed or anything like that does anything out of the way, they're out the door. They're out the door quicker than than anything. And I've seen it happen several times, and it's a real shame because it takes a lot to get yourself in that position where you're on an org, you're competing at the highest level, and they go and throw it away by doing something as stupid as being a terrible person.
Mm.
Like, even if that is your thoughts, or that is your opinion, and if you are transphobic or homophobic or whatever, shut up. Just shut up and keep it to yourself, because nobody cares what you think. We as long as we're happy in ourselves and we're looking out for each other, you can think what you want, but just keep it to yourself. We don't care. Go away. And orgs and teams will not accept any of that behavior anymore unless you're FaZe. I'm still getting attacked by FaZe after this.
I
I
hope
think
not.
you bring
I hope
up
not.
a
I've
good
got
point
attacked by
though.
them plenty of times, so this wouldn't be anything.
But a lot of these games, it is about money. So, and I think the what really needs to happen is that the sponsors need to be held accountable for
Mhm.
sponsoring teams that are expressing homophobic statements or investing in games where it's notoriously happening in their lobbies and things like that. So I really think that the sponsors need to be held accountable for
Mhm.
their hand in
Because
it.
what? Money talks. And
Mm.
if the money
Well,
Mhm.
pulls out, they're gonna be like, okay, we're
this
sorry.
this is the thing though, is there like do the sponsors even know what's happening with those teams? Are they aware? I mean, is there something more that like we can do as like either viewers or people involved in esports at any level to be like, yo, letter writing campaign, bombard them with emails. You know that this is taking place. To like, do you feel it's okay to hit them where it hurts in the
Mhm.
sponsors?
That's such a shame, though, that we have to even think about it,
Right.
that we
Yeah.
have to be the ones to make the actions for them, to tell
Mhm.
them that they need to do something about it. Why
Mhm.
are you sponsoring something you're not paying attention to? Why do we have to create an email campaign, a social media campaign to get your attention to realize this happened? It's crazy to me, and it's so sad that we live in a world where we have to do stuff like that, but that is what we have to
Yeah.
do.
And it's like I see people argue this, like, oh, well, they're in contracts. Well, every contract that I've signed, every contract that I've seen, there's always a clause in there saying if you go against our values, the contract is null. So it's like that's never an excuse for for any of that. They could easily be like, hey, we don't like what you're doing, we're gonna pull out. But they don't, or they just don't see it, or they just don't care
Mm.
because they're getting the money from it too.
I would say that the last point, they don't care because of the money.
Right.
Yeah.
Because people see gaming and esports, and I mean, esports is just competitive gaming. There's no gaming and esports to me are one and the same. And they go,
Right.
that's a booming industry. Let's go put money into that, and we'll get money out of that. Whatever
Mm.
happens in it, I don't care. My money's working, and then that's
Yep.
it. That's all they care about.
Yeah.
Not all,
Yeah.
not all sponsors, but like the
That's
majority of.
Like the big
so
ones,
incredibly
right?
tiring. Are you all just tired sometimes? Just
Yeah.
thinking
Yes.
about this, and more so like in these last couple of years as well, with the overwhelming sentiment against the LGBTQIA plus community that's been just growing these last couple of years. It's definitely very tiring. So let's switch gears a little bit here because I don't want it to be such a Debbie Downer. I feel like there's definitely stuff, and I feel like the things that y'all are doing to reclaim spaces in esports is such a pivotal thing and such a great thing to like bring more people into it. Do you feel like just upping the amount of like diversity that's just in esports in general is what is the best way of going about that, and do you think that would improve things, just bringing more diverse players in?
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah. Do you want to go? I don't mind.
No,
I,
no, no,
I feel like I've
absolutely.
spoken like so much. I was going to say like having more diverse tournaments, having more female and marginalized genders tournaments or marginalized community tournaments is the only way it's ever going to get better. And I don't want how do I don't want more of these tournaments just for the sake of these tournaments, right? These
Mm.
like women and marginalized gender, marginalized community tournaments give us the chance to showcase and to teach and to help our player base grow and learn and get to the same level as the traditional esports community does at the minute. If we went tomorrow and said, okay, let's make every esports league open to every player, which is what everyone will say, they're like, oh, well, a girl can take part if they want, it's fine. They can't, because you can't just drop a girl into a team of 4 boys who've never spoken to a girl in their life because all they know is stupid bro culture, and they
Mm.
don't know how to talk to other girls because they end up trying to like flirt with them awfully. You can't just drop us in. You have to give us a safe place to play and compete and learn and grow those skills. And the only way you get those skills is by playing live in front of a crowd, live in front of an audience, somewhere that's not your comfort room, like your home office or your studio or your bedroom, or somewhere where you don't have plushies everywhere. The only way you get good is by putting yourself out there and playing in those tense environments. And the only way to get to those tense environments is to have our own competitions. But
Yeah.
eventually, I would like it to be anyone plays for anyone. But
Mm.
until we get the chance to develop those skills in the same frequency, let's say, as everyone else, then that's the only way we do it is with mixed leagues and mixed tournaments.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I definitely think that's something that needs to come. Kyle, sorry, we can add something onto.
Oh, I just to add on to that, you're absolutely right. I mean, adding diversity just
Mm.
brings up multiple like styles and thought processes, and then that really kind of makes every single person in the community better. So
Mhm.
yeah, we do probably. I mean, like I would love to live in a world where there didn't need to be a CMSA esports just for queer people to play some games together and have fun and be safe and everything like that. But that's not the world we live in, and we can like develop community and develop people. And mind you, we're recreational esports, so we're not creating Olympians.
Not yet, not
But
yet.
like not yet, not yet. In
There's always a
time.
chance. Yeah, you never know.
I'll come coach. I'm in.
Right? Yeah, that'd be great. But like you're right though, like creating those spaces for, communities separately to be able to be around each other and develop skills is a great option and a great way to get that moving forward. So
Mhm.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I absolutely think there definitely should be more of what both you and Kyle and Kylie are doing, is like creating these tournaments that are more inclusive, that are literally, like you said, be the change that you want to see in the world, creating those spaces, right? And I think that's such a fantastic thing, and I think will lead to positive change. And even MZ yourself, just being that representation. I mean, like just being where you are with British esports is such a massive thing too. Like there are going to be people out there who aren't, might be questioning themselves, might be thinking about like transitioning and like are really into esports, and then they see you and they're like, "Yo, this person I really look up to," and that's the spark that they need. So again, just having you there as, well, not saying that's all you're there for, but having you there,
Yes.
being that awesome human being that you are, is gonna like change so many lives as well. So I'm just like, massive props to all of you for doing what you do, because it is actually going to make some positive changes in the world. I have no doubt. Speaking of which, if there were like, young people, maybe young LGBTQI plus people who were watching this right now and they wanted to get into esports, or wanted to just generally get into the scene, like what advice would you give them? And again, this is something anyone can jump in on.
Well, I would start off as expect negativity, because it's going to happen. We don't want it to happen, but it's bound to happen. Go in there, find your people, because you will find your people. You will find your community. You will find the people that will fully support you, and you're going to need that support, because you're going to need people, your peers, that understand to fall back on and vent to if you need to, or talk about things and how to navigate. So I would fully just say find your people, because when you're going to go in there, you're going to go in expecting opportunities or what have it, and not get it because of who we are. So you're going to need those people, your peers, to lean on and support you. So find your people, and then once you find your people, you're going to be that much more stronger when you go into the space.
Absolutely. Does anybody else have any advice for anyone really trying to get into it?
I would just say, don't do it. Go be a lawyer or a doctor.
Right, go be a doctor, please.
Yeah, just go be an astronaut. It's less,
we need
less
better
stress.
politicians. Go do that.
Oh yeah, do that. No, I'm joking, really. Like Kylie said, you'll find your people. But before you find your people, make sure it's just make sure it's something you're passionate about and something you love. Like, I don't feel like I've worked a day in my life since I quit my office business job, my 9 to 5. Like, I don't feel like I've worked a single day, because every day I get to do something I love and talk about something I love, and that's the only way I get through all the negativity and the hate and the stupid remarks I get from people online. I'm doing what I love and living my best life while I'm doing it. Like, if you enjoy something, nobody should ever stop you from doing that. So if you love it, go do it. And when you start doing it, you'll find your community in the same place, and you'll all flourish together from there.
Totally. Yeah.
Absolutely. Kyle, did you have any other advice that you wanted to give? Maybe a little different skew?
I would say, if a young queer person trying to get into esports, try. Not everybody's gonna be kind. Fuck it. Just because you're queer, just because you're queer doesn't mean you have to be nice either.
Right, that part.
If just one of the things that queer people are really skilled at is being masters of words and being able to clap back, hone those
I
skills.
I saw some of your clapbacks recently, actually. So yeah.
Yeah, like they're just troll them right back. One of my funnest videos that I like created was when somebody on Valorant started getting extremely homophobic to me, and I just Uno reversed that shit and just made them stressed out and uncomfortable. And I'm not gonna stop doing what I enjoy because somebody wants me to stop doing it. You're gonna have to
Right.
try a lot harder than that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well said. Well said. And
One extra
yeah,
thing
go
I
ahead.
would say though is network. Go out and
Mm.
actually like don't just do it all online. Go out to
Yes.
events and make sure people know who you are, because there's a million people trying to get into esports and gaming. You need to go to events in person and make sure people in person know who you are. That's what's worked for me. I went to every gaming event I could physically get to. I spoke to everyone to the point I'd lose my voice, but they would know that I was going to be at the next event. They would know who I was and they would know what I stand for. So go spread your message, share who you are, and actually basically touch grass,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's the like networking is 90% of what we do in esports. 10%
Because
of
everyone
it is
wants to
what we
do
online.
this, but not everyone wants to put in the work.
Exactly.
Go out there, do the work, and then it'll come to you. And also, don't take anything for granted, because doing this is a privilege. Don't take anything for granted. Go there, run and be nice, because you don't know who you're going to talk to. You don't know if tomorrow that person's going to get hired to be the boss that's going to hire you or give you a sponsor. So be nice, and it goes a long way.
Again, like I feel like that comes back to that idea of like dehumanization as well. Like meeting someone IRL is so much more powerful than meeting somebody online. I mean, you can forge amazing friendships online, but like when you meet someone face to face, you have that like actual connection there. It's definitely powerful, especially in the world of like that you want to make a career in. So fantastically said. Wonderful. Now before we go into our little wrap up phrase here, because we're pretty much almost out of time, I did want to ask you each, what have you got coming up in the future? And let's go down the line again. MC, let's start with you. What have you got coming up that people have to look forward to?
The gaming awards, which would be pretty cool.
That's a good shout. That's a good shout. It's going to be great.
I'm up for an award there. To do some self promotion. But also I'm everywhere. Like we have student champs coming up. I'm making a lot of Counter-Strike content. I'm trying to get involved in casting and hosting Counter-Strike. And I also, I mean, I was just on TV on Tuesday. And I'm going to do a lot more sort of, basically I have a short film about my journey in esports. I want to take that and push it to the mainstream about my journey of being a trans woman. So I want to do like a no hold bars documentary. So I'm in talks with a few people. I just need some sponsors and stuff to dive into what it's actually like being trans, because my whole life is online. There's nothing anyone can ever say to me on the internet or in person that I haven't already said to myself and put myself in a far worse place. So if I can take a shot and show everyone what it's like to actually be a member of the trans community or a member of the LGBT community in a like a no hold bars documentary style thing, and plus the money will help pay for certain surgeries. So yeah.
Hell yeah.
So slightly selfish reason, but also my skin's pretty thick, and I want to show that we're here and show the people that, you know, whenever we go to a bathroom, it's not to creep, it's because we need to pee.
Right.
Like, and that is it. And stop thinking about what's in my pants, because it's none of your goddamn business. That's what I want to show off.
We need to dispel all the BS that's coming out. So if anything that will be done to help that, all for.
So that's what's coming up for me. A lot of ifs and a lot of events.
Nice, awesome. Kyle, what about yourself? What have you got coming up in the future?
Yeah, I believe it'll be like announced in June officially, but I will be becoming one of Queerty Gamers official content creators, which is really exciting. They're a really great organization. And then with CMSA, me and my partner in crime, is Blank XQ. We'll be running a Valorant league, our first one ever for CMSA Esports. So we're really excited to start recruiting for that, and signups will be coming out very soon.
Oh, yay. So look forward to that. And Kylie, yourself, what have you got coming up in the future for people to look forward to?
So a lot of my content now is beauty lifestyle stuff. Now I don't really post much gaming stuff. I still stream here and there, but it's mainly like beauty lifestyle stuff, frankly, because there's a bigger audience and there's more money in there. And what I have coming up, it's exciting though, even though like I don't post gaming content too much anymore is that I got a massive deal with the Respawn to do a Pride event for their entire all of their employees. They're expecting like 200 people to be online and just me to talk about my experience as a drag artist in the FPS space, the negatives and positives, and just like educating the people at Respawn on my journey, not just my journey, but as a queer individual in the FPS space, and also a drag artist in the FPS space, and what that looks like from my point of view and from others that probably experience the same stuff. So that's super exciting. I wish that was public, but I think it's pretty much only just for the Respawn employees.
Mm. Oh, I'd hope they would make that public.
I
At some point,
know.
but still, that's so exciting! Like that
Yes.
whole company. Wow, damn, that's so exciting.
Yeah, I know. It's exciting, but it's like, okay, everyone's gonna be there.
All right, so just before we wrap up here, we're going to move on to our new section for the end of the show that we've been doing this last couple seasons. Show me what you got. So our guests have brought one item that holds some significance to them. Could be something special. It could be a game that they're looking forward to, a movie that they love, or something that holds significance to them. So we'll do it in reverse order this time. Kylie, show me what you got. What have you got for me today?
Yes. I have a screenshot of my content. Like I mentioned, I post more beauty lifestyle type content, and it's been really, really taking off very quickly. I just started doing it the past few months, and I've already had a video go viral both on Instagram and TikTok, and that one on top is 3 million now. Then I posted the other one there's at 57,000. That one's climbing, like jumped overnight, and they're just like really, really blowing up. It's taking off, and it's just showing me that what I'm doing is right and it is correct. And also it's doing this content, and I'm not just showing this because like, oh, views, but it's also because it's better for my mental health to do something that's like almost like easier and that could do stuff in my daily life, basically record my life and produce that type of content, because I just couldn't sit here all the time and just stream for 8 hours at a time anymore. So doing this was really beneficial for me, my health, and doing this actually helped me so much more. So these views are just kind of validating that what I'm doing is kind of the right thing.
Diversifying to improve mental health. We love that.
Yes.
Love that. Yes. Kyle, let's see what you got. Show me what you got. What have you got?
So this is a very special to me because I'm from Chicago, but I live in Nashville. And if you're CMSA, it stands for Chicago Metropolitan Sports Association. So recently we were invited to run the Pride Lounge at C2E2, which is the same thing as like Comic-Con, same company and everything runs it, but it's in Chicago. And I was able to go there and help out. So this is my C2E2 shirt of CMSA Esports, where I got to actually see my CMSA Esports team in person for the first time, and I literally was like in tears like when I was like leaving, because I was just like I wanted to spend more time with everybody and everything, but it was just a really special moment, and like this shirt was like a physical manifestation of like being able to spend that instead of just online through Discord and things like that and see them in person. So I hold this really dear to my heart.
Memento of the connections that you made. That's kind of awesome. Yes. I love that. MZ, show me what you got.
This bad boy, this is deceptively heavy. So this is it does say second place on it, which I'm still bitter about, but this is the first ever Olympic sanctified European Games award for esports. So I won this last year playing eFootball over in Poland in Katowice. So this is
amazing.
Goes up on this shelf, and then I have my gold Commonwealth medal there as well with my framed jersey for my esports awards. I also have a giant check that I can't get over to Northern Ireland, so I'm sure
yeah, you mentioned this earlier. Like I wanted to say, like it looks like just carry it in your arms and just take all of the trains and ferries that you can.
I did that. I took it from Pickett because it was from the BAFTA venue. So I won a film festival of BAFTA, and they gave us this massive check that I thought would be absolutely hilarious to take on the London Underground. It was not. It was a nightmare. It was one of the worst decisions I've ever made in my life. But the pictures of it all look great. Other than
Yeah.
that, it was terrible idea. But they said they were going to throw it out if I didn't take it. So I was like, damn right, I'm taking it.
Oh no, that's a shame. Like I imagine like there was a little me at some point that thought that people actually cashed those massive checks
Right.
that you get. Like that's ridiculous.
wish.
But yeah, you'll get it back eventually, no doubt. You just like
I
turn it into into some kind of like mini airplane that you can sit on and fly with it if it's that big. Who knows?
It's in my friend's house. It's
Mhm.
it's huge. He'll get it over to me.
Awesome. I will show you what I've got. I'll be very quick with this because I do this every single week. So, I'm running out of things to show, honestly. So, this week, because it is Pride, here's my my very exclusive Pride pillows. This is my super gay juice pillow. Oh, that's upside down. Super gay juice can and
69
my
calories.
exactly and trans pop. Sparkling. This has got
That was so
100%
cute.
pride. Yeah, these are. I hug these occasionally. So
Those
I
are
have to get
so
them down
cute.
from the rest of my plushies, and now my plushies are everywhere. So you're welcome, internet. I've made a mess. All right then. We are going to wrap up. So I did want to say a massive thank you to everybody for being here today. Before we get into the complete wrap up, though, I'm going to give you all a chance to tell everybody who you are once again and where people can find you. So, MZ, let us know where can people find you on the internet?
Everywhere. Any social media platform at MZ192. EMZII192. Don't ask where the 192 came from. It just happened.
Very, very cool. Kyle, what about yourself? Where can people find you?
Yes, YouTube is at BB Kyle, Twitch at BB Kyle. My website, bbkyle.com, has my full link tree with everything on there. So check me out there, please.
Awesome. And of course, the illustrious Kylie Gabor. Where can people find you on the internet?
Yes. I'm Kylie Gabor, drag artist. If you want to see makeup, beauty, lifestyle, vlogs type of content, you can follow me on literally any platform at Kylie Gabor or I am Kylie Gabor. Some of them I am Kylie Gabor, but literally any platform. Just look me up and I'm there. I'm always active.
Wonderful stuff. Again, another massive thank you to you all for joining me today. That's going to be it for this episode of the Gaming Podcast. We have so much content coming during this DigiPride, so make sure that you're following here or you're following over on the YouTube and visit gamingmag.com/DigiPride to check out everything that is popping up, including the audio version of the podcast. You'll be able to grab that at some point. And a massive thank you to our presenting partner, Jammer Games, and our sponsors, Devolver Digital and Wizards of the Coast. We're going to be able to see you next week for another podcast episode, and I am back on Friday, kicking off the weekend of DigiPride streams with Spring Sims on The Sims. So that's going to be absolutely fantastic. And then on the Saturday, we got a packed week this week. On the Saturday, we're going to be doing the DigiPride house party for Palestine right here on the channel, and followed by another gaming podcast on Sunday. So make sure that you tune in for all those brilliant shows. And until then, keep reading and watching Gaming Magazine. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy Pride.